Tonight, a young firefighter killed battling a blaze in the BC interior.
She just went to work. So this doesn't make sense.
A young life cut short, a community in shock, and the wildfire still raging out of control. The aftermath of a destructive tornado.
Everything happened like in a minute or so.
Why we're seeing more twisters in Ontario and Quebec. India's launch to the far side of the moon.
It's a moment of glory for India.
Why they're hoping to go where no country has gone before.
This is The National with Renee Filipponi.
Ian is away. The small community of Revelstoke, British Columbia is in shock tonight. A family there devastated after a young woman, a firefighter, died trying to protect her community from wildfire. Devon Gale was part of a fire crew working near the city where she was born and raised when she was pinned beneath a falling tree on Thursday and killed. She was just 19. Her death, the first on the front lines of a BC wildfire in almost a decade. This tragedy comes as the province battles one of its worst wildfire seasons ever recorded, and one that won't end anytime soon. Aaron Collins is in Revelstoke tonight.
You can smell the danger hanging over the Rockies here. Smoke from wildfires thick in Revelstoke, BC. But there's grief in the air here too. Devon Gale died fighting one of the fires burning outside of her hometown. Gale, just 19, killed clearing brush in a remote area where a small fire had started. Her fellow firefighters found her caught under a fallen tree.
She just went to work. So this doesn't make sense. And it's really, really hard. And there's going to be a lot of people grieving this young lady because she was so beautiful and she will be so, so missed in this community by so many people.
Growing up, Gale was an avid gymnast, a talented athlete and mentor for younger members of her club. Gale only graduated from high school 2 years ago. This was the teenager's first season fighting wildfires. Her coach left shaken by her death.
She was just one of the most beautiful human beings you could ever meet. No one ever walked away from Devon without feeling just a little bit better. She was so special.
Gale's brother posted online about his sister's death, saying he was so grateful to have grown up beside her. She truly didn't deserve this. About 2,000 firefighters are working to put out wildfires across BC. The death of one of them makes this season all the more tragic.
It's hard to think of a more dramatic example of sacrifice and commitment to the people of British Columbia than putting your life on the line, going out to the front lines to fight forest fires. This is a young woman who had her whole life ahead of her.
More than 350 active fires are burning across BC. 229 are out of control. Fueled by hot, dry conditions, this fire season on pace to be the worst in BC's history.
Our existing underlying conditions, sort of like the drought code conditions, those larger fuels remain quite dry. We had prolonged drought through the fall, a dry winter, and then an early start to the wildfire season this year.
Experts say climate change is making wildfires more common and more intense, a problem that isn't limited to BC. Canada in the midst of a record wildfire season. New records becoming a new normal in this country.
Aaron, do we have a sense of what will be happening with the fires in BC over the weekend?
Yeah, Renee, there's some good news and there's some bad news on that front. The forecast has some rain, some moisture across the province over the weekend. Obviously, that's good news. Along with that moisture, that rain, though, oftentimes you'll see wind, and that's not so good because that could be fanning some of the flames of those existing fires. So, you know, it's only July. And this part of the world obviously not out of the woods yet when it comes to forest fires. Typically, Renee, forest fire season in British Columbia can last until mid-October.
Aaron, thank you. Further east over the prairies, wildfire smoke is leading to dangerous air quality.
We were out for a stroll and we felt that we needed to sit because of just, it's harder to breathe for sure.
Today, Saskatoon's air quality was rated high risk The Saskatchewan Rough Riders had to move their practice indoors. In other parts of the province, the health risk was even higher. And in Calgary, a stubborn haze hangs over the city, and there's an air quality alert during the final days of the stampede. Many people in Ottawa are still out of their homes tonight after a tornado ripped through a neighborhood in the city's southwest. Efforts began today to clean up the mess, but also to study whether a tornado alley is moving east into central Canada. Nicole Williams shows us the damage done.
Oh my God.
In the aftermath of a brief but destructive tornado, this community now left to pick up the pieces.
We are very concerned with the debris and the lot of glasses are blown.
This man says the tornado went right over his house and tore up his roof. He says it's going to take time to process.
Yeah, I think at least it's going to take a few months for us to get back to the normal, and then everything happened like in a minute or so.
People now left with plenty of questions, including how quickly their homes can get fixed, many of them brand new.
I moved in just over a year ago, and I know a lot of people are under a year, so it's unfortunate to move in and then have all this damage so quickly.
Crews arrived early this morning to assess the damage and say it could take time.
Got to wait after the city and make sure that all the authorities, check it off, deem that it's structurally sound, and then we can fix it.
That hasn't stopped some from hiring private companies, hoping to see their roofs repaired sooner than later.
Battery's full. Perfect.
Researchers from the Northern Tornado Project are on the scene, trying to determine the full scope of the tornado.
We're going to be assessing, what the intensity of the tornado was, what, aspects like the path length and the width. At all these events, we also want to make sure, you never know for sure whether there was, multiple tornadoes or whether there was other damage.
These experts confirm at least 2 tornadoes touched down in the Ottawa and Montreal regions and are investigating the possibility of other destructive weather along the storm's path. Experts say they're seeing more tornadoes in central Canada, especially near populated areas.
There's speculation that the tornado alley in Canada is shifting a little bit from being, more so in the Prairies to more so maybe in, Ontario and southern Quebec. We'll confirm that over the next, years and decades as we collect more and more data.
So, Nicole, Central Canada may be in for more tornadoes. What should people know about the advance notice they'll get and how to react?
Well, Renee, Environment Canada issues a tornado watch when a storm is approaching with conditions that could potentially form one. A warning is much more serious. That's when a tornado has actually been spotted or the conditions are favoring one to actually form. If you get a warning, take shelter, seek a basement if you have one, and if you don't, stay away from outside walls, windows. Also, plan ahead. Make sure you have emergency contacts saved into your phone ahead of time and arrange a meeting spot with your loved ones to find each other after a storm.
Thanks, Nicole. That's Nicole Williams in Ottawa. Lots of cleanup still to do in Montreal after that same weather system drenched the city with a month's worth of rain.
There's no way no city around the world can manage to deal with 85 millimeters of rain in less than 2 hours.
More than 130 homes were flooded and about 200,000 Hydro-Quebec customers were without power this morning. It's been restored to at least 3/4 of those homes and businesses. The city is talking about creating more green spaces to act as a sponge after storms. Parts of the U.S. are also dealing with extreme weather, a dangerous heat wave. The National Weather Service says at least 93 million people are under heat warnings and advisories from Florida to California. In Death Valley National Park, temperatures are expected to hit more than 53 degrees this weekend. Making matters worse is the length of the heat wave. Phoenix has seen 2 straight weeks of temperatures above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That is more than 43 degrees Celsius. Parts of southern Europe are also dealing with extreme temperatures. The heat wave, nicknamed Cerberus after the 3-headed dog from Dante's Inferno, is making its way across the continent. Chris Brown now on its dangerous effects.
Athens is sweltering, too hot even to visit one of the world's greatest historic sites, the Parthenon, which was temporarily closed Friday.
We didn't know we were coming on the hottest day of the year. We knew we were coming in July. We did not know it was going to be 105 degrees.
That's over 40 degrees Celsius, more than hot enough to cause serious harm to human health for people who don't get enough shade or water.
Yesterday we had 40 cases of people feeling dizziness and dysphoria, and some of them had small injuries.
Similar temperatures in Spain have put practically all of the country at extreme risk of forest fires, which are now starting to take off in Morocco and have already scorched Croatia. Everything was brand new, even the kitchen, he said. This is the second savage summer for Europe in a row. 2022's blast of extreme heat may have killed an astonishing 61,000 people, Spanish researchers reported this week, as they emphasized that European cities are not adapting fast enough to a warming climate. Italy, Greece, and Spain and Portugal are the most affected, countries characterized by economic conditions that are not as advanced as the rest of the continent, he said. Especially worrying about this heat wave is that it could last for weeks, creating similar lethal conditions to last summer.
So the buildings warm, and during the night, people cannot have a proper rest, and all these factors contribute then to the excess mortality.
Tourists, of course, are also at high risk. It's peak season, and at famous attractions in Italy and Greece, there are multiple reports of people fainting from the heat. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Here in Canada, another random deadly attack is prompting more urgent calls to fix the country's bail system. This time from Edmonton's mayor, after a father of 7 was stabbed to death on city transit. He says the accused killer should have been under house arrest. As Kate McKenna shows us, the pressure on Ottawa to take action is growing.
A desperate plea from Edmonton's mayor.
The governments responsible are not stepping up to the way they need to step up. That is why I sent that letter.
That letter sent to the federal justice minister, David Lametti. It says the suspect in a deadly stabbing was released on bail and supposed to be under house arrest. I struggle to comprehend why someone who could be a risk to others was released into our city without a plan, the mayor wrote. 52-year-old Nakunda Rukinisha was a father of 7. He was killed here last Sunday.
We are losing Edmontonians every month or so. Violent crime is on the rise.
And not just in Alberta. The man charged with shooting and killing this Toronto woman, an innocent bystander, was also out on bail. So is the man accused of this shocking stabbing, terrifying passengers on the Toronto subway. Premiers and the Conservative opposition have long been calling for tougher rules.
We cannot afford to wait longer for better protection from random violence. Provinces and territories are doing our part on more law enforcement to combat crime, on gangs, on domestic and partner-based violence.
The catch and release criminal justice system that Justin Trudeau legislated and the NDP supported allows the same repeat violent offenders to commit one offense after another and be released onto the streets without consequences.
The federal government has introduced a bill to tighten bail conditions targeting violent offenders. But that bill is only at the beginning of the parliamentary process and still has several steps to go before becoming law. In a statement, the federal justice minister said, "I share your concerns regarding the need for bail reform, and am doing everything I can to ensure this bill is passed when the House of Commons returns in September. But for some, it's already taken too long." Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
In Ontario, asylum seekers and refugees are being turned away at shelters, forcing them to sleep on the streets. Katie Nicholson shows us how the face of homelessness is changing in a system stretched too thin.
This is hardly the life Salih Najib envisioned when he left Uganda.
Did you expect to be sleeping on the street when you came?
No, I didn't expect that.
Najib is seeking asylum in Canada. Everything he owns gathered around this tree.
I came with this.
Yeah.
This is my luggage.
Toronto's shelters are full. More than a third of the 9,000 beds are filled by refugees and asylum seekers. Those who can't get in are sleeping on the street.
My friends from Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, many of us from Nigeria, we are here.
How many of you sleep here every night?
We are almost 100 plus.
Wow.
For the last 21 days, our brothers and sisters have been sleeping on the streets of Toronto.
Since May, the number of newcomers who called the shelter intake system and got turned away increased from 25 to 45%. In a statement, Toronto's new mayor says the city is meeting with all levels of government, looking for concrete solutions for the end of the immediate crisis. The feds say they're happy to come to the table.
There is a lot of goodwill between the federal government to sit down, to work with her and her new administration.
For its part, the province says the feds aren't providing enough cash for housing.
I am disgusted and ashamed as a Canadian to be witnessing this.
Frustrated with what they see as intergovernmental bickering, it's fallen on community groups to help provide basics, food, bedding, and water.
They need to stop using people as a political football and actually fund the supports that are needed.
That failure to meet those needs, crushing the hopes of newcomers.
Me sleeping on the streets of Canada, it means I'm not welcome.
A harsh start to a new life. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
In Montreal, more than 100 maintenance workers at a cemetery have ended a strike that dragged on for months. Gates at the Notre-Dame-de-Neige Cemetery have been closed since mid-January. The cemetery says more than 300 bodies haven't been buried because of the strike. Families have been unable to visit and sometimes resorting to sneaking through the fence. The workers now have a new 4-year collective agreement, and they'll be back on the job Monday. We're learning more about Lisa Marie Presley's death after a California medical examiner revealed she died from a small bowel obstruction following bariatric surgery. Bariatric procedures are increasingly popular to help people lose weight, including here in Canada. But as Lauren Pelly explains, complications are rare.
6 months after her death, an autopsy report says Lisa Marie Presley died after a small bowel obstruction following bariatric surgery several years ago.
It's a very uncommon complication, and when it comes to bowel obstruction, in the case of Lisa Presley, that's even more rare.
Bariatric surgery is often used as a last resort for weight loss, including when people have another serious medical condition. The 3 main types of surgery include gastric banding, which wraps an adjustable band around the upper stomach. A gastric sleeve removes 80% or so of the stomach. Then there's a gastric bypass, which both reduces the size of the stomach and reroutes food to bypass part of the intestines.
And that procedure has a slightly higher rate of bowel obstruction.
Most commonly, you can have scarring in the bowel.
This physician says scar tissue after surgery can sometimes cause blockages, which can lead to organ failure, heart attacks, or death. But most of the time, he says, bariatric surgery is safe.
It can have very positive outcomes down the road for people who do have successful responses to surgery.
It's not clear which type of surgery Presley had or why she developed this rare complication before she died in January at age 54. Her autopsy report said she complained of stomach pain earlier the same day.
Every patient who undergoes bariatric surgery has been sort of educated to ensure that if they experience any symptom like that, they go immediately to their doctor or come to the hospital.
Important advice since thousands of Canadians have bariatric surgery every year. The latest available data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information shows more than a 4-fold increase in the procedures over a 7-year period. Given the popularity of these surgeries, rare complications can happen, sometimes with tragic results. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Police in Long Island, New York have laid charges in a high-profile series of murders. A 59-year-old man, now an accused serial killer.
This case is not over, it's only beginning. We're continuing to execute search warrants, and we anticipate getting more evidence.
The bodies of 11 people, many of them sex workers, were found between 2011 and 2012. on a stretch of Gilgo Beach. Rex Heuermann was arrested yesterday. He's accused of murdering 3 of the victims and has pleaded not guilty. Police say he used a burner phone to communicate with the victims. The FBI used cell phone towers to help crack the case. They pinpointed an area where the suspect lives, about a 20-minute drive from the beach. We're taking a look at Canada's ongoing housing crunch, and anyone who's tried to find a rental knows it's tough out there.
The big surprise right now is that this is hitting the middle class.
What's behind these soaring rents, and is there a fix? And later.
I remember laying in the water and hearing people yelling, "We're coming, we're coming."
A Canadian iron worker is one lucky guy. He tells us why in our moment. Plus, think all those McNuggets are the same? Not when it comes to price.
How come it's $11.39 there, $16.39 there?
Why it's not what you buy, but where. We're back in 2.
Workers everywhere around the world are watching this because it's happening to them too. And until you're there and not in your ivory tower making $100 million, you don't know what it feels like.
Sharp words from the head of Hollywood's largest union today as television and movie actors join striking screenwriters in their months-long dispute over streaming pay, disputes, and concerns about the use of AI in generating scripts. Also on the picket lines today, Oscar winner Susan Sarandon, Lord of the Rings star Sean Astin, and Michelle Hurd from Star Trek Picard. Some customers are noticing a big price difference at fast food restaurants. The exact same burger or fries costing considerably more between stores just kilometers apart. Lauren Bird explains why.
After 2 recent family visits to McDonald's, Calgary landscaper Siva Kanjivaram did a double take. The same chicken nuggets order had a $5 price difference.
How come it's $11.39 there, $16.39 there? That's actually really shocking to me.
Hard to ignore when money is tight.
And it's not just in Calgary. Here in downtown Toronto, 20 chicken nuggets cost us $15.69 before taxes. But just a couple neighborhoods away, the same order was $11.79, a $4 difference.
One would, in theory, expect a Big Mac to cost the same probably everywhere, at least within the same, say, city or even in the same neighborhood.
McDonald's didn't respond to multiple CBC requests for an interview or information. But it isn't the only brand that uses price fluctuations. We looked at the Taco Bell app, and the crunchy beef taco was 3 different prices depending on your location.
It comes down in part to who owns the restaurant. 85% of McDonald's in Canada are franchised. Individual owners set prices, and the chains have big data to back them up.
We've got all kinds of data coming from POS and coming from other sources. And so the ability for even the small franchise group, if they want to and if they're sophisticated enough to harness that data and really hone in on what makes sense for them, is massive.
409. The data allows owners to assess how much their customers will dish out. Factors include the demographics of the neighborhood, what else is around, and of course, location. And it leads to a system of tiers.
A university location might be a tier 1, whereas some other location might not. Whereas if that's not your market, that might be a tier 3 to someone, whereas a downtown Toronto core might be a tier 1.
Customers end up paying a premium for convenience.
I felt like they are taking their advantage of their position.
But it's a cost that many are willing to pay. Lauren Bird, CBC News, Toronto.
The battle over Bill C-18 is heating up. Ottawa wants to force internet giants to pay Canadian news agencies for their contents.
We're not backing down on this. This goes to the core of a free and informed society.
So what's really at stake for Canadian media and consumers?
News is very much a struggling industry. It's been on the decline for many years now.
Andrew Chang explores what the bill means for how you get your news online. The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping your world next. British Columbia is the latest Canadian jurisdiction to pull its ads from Facebook and Instagram after Meta and Google said they plan to block links to Canadian news sites. It's another salvo in a heated conflict over Bill C-18, which will force internet giants Google and Meta to pay Canadian news agencies for their content. Andrew Chang now on why there is so much at stake for Canadian media and consumers.
So let me set the scene for you. 3 Canadian members of parliament from 3 different political parties giving a joint news conference to media presenting a united front against the big bad tech giants like Google and Meta, who have threatened to yank all Canadian news from their sites. And what does the government minister do?
We are announcing the Government of Canada will be suspending advertising on Facebook and Instagram.
He threatens Meta, suspends all Government of Canada advertising on their platforms, which adds up to like $10 million worth of ads, which is like nothing to Meta. It's peanuts. No, you know what? It's less than peanuts. It's like peanut dust, because Meta made more than $100 billion US last year. So $10 million Canadian dollars is nothing. But here's the thing. For those MPs who started this fight in the first place by insisting Meta and Google pay for linking or sharing Canadian news content on their sites, this is just the beginning.
They've received billions of dollars from Canada. Now it's time for them to give back.
This is not just a dispute over advertising, it's also a dispute over democracy. We're not backing down on this. This goes to the core of a free and informed society.
So what is so scary that major tech giants like Google and Meta are willing to go so far as to cut Canadian news right out of their services? Well, the Online News Act basically requires them to negotiate deals with Canadian media companies, compensating them anytime their news content is used or shared. So let's say I'm just some dude and I Google Bill C-18 Online News Act because, I heard about it on TV and I want to learn more about it. So you see these news links here. We got one from CBC News, one from the Globe and Mail, one from Global News, the Canadian ones here. The goal of the bill would be to force Google to compensate those companies for sharing their content. How much compensation? Well, the act doesn't say. It only says that the 2 sides have to negotiate, and this is directly from the legislation, they provide for fair compensation to the news businesses for the news content that is made available. The reaction?
Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, now says it will block news content on its platforms if the bill is passed.
Yeah, they hate the idea. And why wouldn't they, right? They'd have to start paying for what they currently do for free. They'd have to negotiate individual deals with Canadian news organizations, and if they can't, there's a whole formal bargaining process through mediation that can last for months. So they've threatened, if this bill takes effect as planned in about 6 months from now, they will cut out all Canadian news from their search engines, from their news pages, Facebook, Instagram, Google Discover, all gone. Meta is already even running a test, cutting about 5% of Canadian users off Canadian news. News is very much a struggling industry. It's been on the decline for many years now. And increasingly, present company included, people get their news from Google, from social media. It's a vicious cycle because, we're all on our phones, advertisers pay to be there, and so if you're the Kamsack Times in Saskatchewan and you've lost advertising revenue, maybe you can't afford to keep all your reporters on staff. The quality of news suffers accordingly. Readership declines. And where do those readers end up?
80% of all the money from online advertising is going to do companies, so they're making money. Good for them. Good for them, we're happy for them. But they have to contribute in a fair way.
The Online News Act is a way to keep newsrooms in business by returning some of that advertising money. Big news corporations have been in favor of this leveling of the playing field for a long time. But other media outlets have spoken on Parliament Hill about what would happen if Google and Meta made good on their threat.
Today, Google and Facebook combined generate almost 50% of our traffic on an ongoing basis.
And it should go without saying, losing 50% of your traffic is bad. Being so reliant on Meta and Google has crippled ad revenue for newsrooms. But if you don't have Meta and Google sending people your way, do you survive at all? That's been Google's argument from the start, that they're actually acting almost like a free newsstand. You know, people walk by, they see some Canadian news, they read it. So make no mistake, Canada is not alone in this fight. Americans are very much fighting it too. In California, there are efforts to impose a so-called journalism usage fee, very much following the Canadian example. Then there's Australia.
Australia has passed a new law that requires digital platforms to pay local media outlets to link to their content in news feeds or in search results.
They're a few years ahead of us, but in a very similar situation. So, Australian lawmakers passed a similar law. Google and Meta both threatened to pull Australian news, but they worked through it. Amendments to the law were made, and now Google and Meta have struck dozens of deals with Australian news media. And the same thing might happen here in Canada. We do know is that Canada is still a relatively small fish. The real test will be what impact the outcome here has on the rest of the world, following or not following suit.
The world is watching. Status quo is not an option.
For more, we've reached Vas Bednar, an expert on digital policy in Canada. Hello.
Hi.
So Vas, there's been some news and movement between the federal government and Google and Meta. What did we learn about these new developments?
Two things happened. One, on Monday, the government released a report sort of outlining more clarity associated with the act going forward, clarifying a cap, or that there will be a cap on how much companies would have to contribute to news organizations, which tech giants, or how they're going to decide who this applies to. They're also going to clarify that previously negotiated commercial agreements, so the agreements that may already exist between select news media organizations, may be able to sort of get an exemption going forward. So that's another really interesting point of clarity that I think wasn't as much in the public domain as it is now. And I think that's a pretty big deal. But the second thing that happened, sort of just coincided with the timing, is that on Tuesday, Canada announced it's fallen out of step with the OECD on something called a digital sales tax, DST. This is something we wanted to introduce 2 or more years ago. So this is another policy lever that feels pretty similar to the Online News Act in terms of that relationship between the Canadian government and the tech giants and that exchange of value.
Well, it does seem like there are some signs of negotiations there, but already 5% of Canadians are seeing news blocked on platforms like Instagram and Facebook. From your perspective, how likely will Google and Facebook follow suit with these threats they're making?
I think they've shown everyone that they are absolutely serious and they have the technical capacity to throttle news or turn it off completely. It's not historically new for a company of any kind to really say that if they're not in a favorable regulatory environment, they're going to pack their bags, pack up their toys and go home, right? What's different is in that digital context, it's more a question of keystrokes, right? So the landscape can change quite quickly. One day we can be throttling news and the next day it's accessible for everyone. And I think that dynamism is also important to recognize here as there's a push and pull between the government and these platforms, these corporations.
Now, we know Australia has similar legislation. Deals have been struck with tech giants and news organizations. How is that working? What do we know about what kind of money is flowing back into newsrooms?
There's quite a bit of optimism related to our emulation of that Australian model. There have been reports both from outside and inside the government that suggest between $150 and $177 million of economic activity has sort of flowed through those voluntary agreements. All of the agreements have been voluntary. There hasn't had to be arbitration. The legislation accounts for about 30% of editorial news salaries. And the hiring, the equivalent of about 50 new journalists. So that has made a lot of regulators, decision makers, and some people in the news industry quite excited about the changes we could see in just a couple of years' time as this legislation goes forward.
Thank you, Vas.
Thank you.
So the negotiations are still ongoing. Heritage Minister Pablo Rodriguez gave an update this week, insisting he is optimistic the government and the tech giants can come to an agreement. Still to come, the cost of rent continues to soar in Canada, with tenants having to pay more for less.
This is unprecedented in Toronto history.
Ellen Morrow crunches the numbers and looks to possible solutions. The Bank of Canada raised its key interest rate again this week, up to 5%, the highest it's been since 2001. It's bad news for Canadians already struggling with housing costs, including sky-high rent. Earlier this year, we asked Ellen Morrow to break down all the factors behind those eye-popping rent prices and some possible solutions.
Rent in Toronto is absolutely insane.
Well, I just found out my rent's gonna be increased from $2,100 a month to $2,400 a month for a one-bedroom condo in Toronto.
When it comes to rent in Toronto, social media doesn't lie.
If you're in Toronto, you can get this room for $800. There's no curtains, no privacy. It's an open room, which is a den. There is no window, no door. What the hell is going on?
What is this city? What is this city?
The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto right now is $2,481. That's 20% higher than the year before. And we're not talking about big places. We're talking about around 500 square feet. So that likely means a small kitchen, small living room, small bedroom, not much space for almost $2,500. So is there a fix for this? And how did it even get so bad? One factor, those rising interest rates. They mean people aren't buying houses right now. So that means more renters, more competition, more demand. Two, people just aren't getting paid enough. Incomes are not keeping up with the rising cost of living. And three, people who study this say that not enough of the right kind of housing, affordable rental units, is being built.
This is unprecedented in Toronto history. This spike, the rapidity with which rents have gone up, is really unusual.
We caught up with Karen Chappell from the University of Toronto, one of North America's leading experts on urban planning.
Well, the big surprise right now is that this is hitting the middle class. That for the first time, we're really seeing folks at median income or 120% of median income not being able to enter the rental market.
Here's why. The general rule is that you should only spend 30% of your pre-tax income on rent. So for that average one-bedroom apartment at about $2,500, that means you'd have to be making $100,000 a year.
It is overwhelming. It's hard not to get disheartened about it.
Thank you. People are coming in with really high expectations, and then as they see the options in the market, they're realizing, okay, I have to be more realistic.
Realtor Paula Resnick says Toronto's rental market is like a roller coaster, at times an emotional one.
So when you have a client who says to you, I want this, and this is my budget, and you have to say, not so fast, you're not going to be able to afford that here. What are those conversations like?
Just definitely very frustrated. I remember I had a call with someone recently. They were just like, I can't believe this.
Paula shows us a listing for a small one-bedroom. In 2019, it was $2,200 a month, now $2,400 for 499 square feet. And what if someone wanted a bigger place to perhaps start a family, for example?
Like an example of a two-bedroom in the same area in the core will be starting at $2,950, and it'll go up to $3,200.
Wow, that's expensive.
And that's a pretty not luxury building, pretty average building.
Do you see people just completely throwing up their hands and saying I can't live in this city, it's crazy?
Yeah, no, 100%. The pool of people that can afford a one bedroom for rent in Toronto is quite small.
And this isn't just a Toronto problem. Average rents across Canada are now more than $2,000 a month for the first time ever. In Vancouver, the average rent for a one bed is $2,633 a month. In Calgary, it's $1,710, and in Atlantic Canada, that number is $1,716.
This rental market is absolutely insane.
What the hell is this? $1,750 for a room. Not the entire apartment, just for a room.
And so what are some of the fixes for this?
Well, I think we need the renovation revolution. I think we need to make it super easy to convert our single-family houses. We have a lot of them, even in the downtown Toronto area. We need to be able to convert those quickly to triplexes, fourplexes, and make rental units out of that.
Ontario plans to build 1.5 million new homes over the next 10 years, including 285,000 in Toronto.
We want to return the dream of home ownership to the next generation of Ontarians.
And the need to make this better is growing every day.
I mean, at the U of T, we have new assistant professors who can't afford rental housing in Toronto on their university salary. That is a huge problem, and let alone the firefighters, the school teachers.
What kind of impact does that have on a city?
It really means that a city like Toronto is becoming more and more exclusive. And it means that we'll lose that wonderful diversity, the multicultural aura of Toronto, which is so unique, which really gives it its identity. That's all at risk now.
Toronto's new mayor, Olivia Chow, was sworn in this week, and she was elected partly on a platform of making the city a more affordable place to live, including protecting affordable rental units and building new ones.
1, 0.
Just ahead, India looks to join an elite club with a new mission to the moon. Plus,
He's swimming! He's swimming! Oh my goodness.
the people on this little boat are some very big heroes. Our moment is on the way. There may be a new player in the space race. India has launched a rocket high above our skies tonight, hoping to become just the 4th nation to land on the moon. Chris O'Neill Yates explains what this mission means for India and the future of space exploration.
3, 2, 1, 0.
With the launch of Chandrayaan-3, India also launches its bid to go where no one has gone before, to the south pole of the moon.
We have a majestic liftoff.
It's a moment of glory for India, and I think a moment of destiny for all of us.
India's last attempt, Chandrayaan-2, ended in a crash. This relaunch with design and software fixes is part of India's bid to become a global leader in commercial space launches.
Whether it is satellite launches, whether it is other launches, and this would further enhance India's credibility and India's ability to undertake those launches, which other countries who are not capable of doing.
Chandrayaan-3 cost $75 million US, relatively cheap for space travel, giving India a big advantage.
They have figured out ways to kind of keep costs minimal and to really rely on their own local resources, whether that's in people or in products and materials, and using that in their innovations.
The 3 major objectives for this mission: to demonstrate a safe, soft landing on the moon's surface, and to conduct rover operations and experiments. If all goes as planned, Chandrayaan-3 will make history on August 23rd, landing as the sun rises over the south pole of the moon. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
This is Spencer Baker, an iron worker who is no stranger to heights. But on Wednesday, he fell 43 meters from where he was working on the Ambassador Bridge. Luckily, onlookers called on a boat to rescue him. His remarkable survival is our moment.
Oh my goodness, we just watched this man fall.
They told me that I'm lucky to be alive. Well, I was just working on the bridge, like I always do. A fluke happened. Essentially, I was pulled over the guardrail, from the road, over the guardrail into the water by my clothing. I remember laying in the water and hearing people yelling, "We're coming, we're coming."
Get him, get him, get him!
I remember laying on my boat, looking at my arm, which you can see is all bruised up.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
I'm very grateful for those people that were there that day and were able to rescue me so fast and send that boat to pull me out of the water. Or even if those people weren't there, I'd probably never get to see my 4-month-old daughter again, or my beautiful fiance. And just the thought of that kills me. The guy that was operating the boat, he saved my life, but I just want to let him know that I appreciate it. And I owe him, you know, all of those people, even the nurses, everyone. I'm so grateful.
He was seriously injured with a broken rib, fractured cheekbone, punctured spleen. And the one thing he wants to do, though, is find those people who rescued him to thank them in person. That's the National for Friday, July 14th. Have a good night.